My husband secretly drained our daughter's education fund gambling online, leaving us with almost nothing after years of saving. I'm torn between giving him a chance to fix it or walking away with our kid for good. What's he hiding next? Hey everyone, my name's Ruby. I'm 28 years old, and I've been wrestling with this disaster for weeks now, trying to figure out if I'm overreacting or if I've got every right to be as furious as I am. I've been lurking on Reddit for a while, reading other people's stories, and I figured this is the best place to dump my own mess and get some clarity. So here's the deal. My husband Jasper, who's 30, took the money we'd been saving for our daughter's education and blew it all on online gambling. Yeah, it's as bad as it sounds. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and I don't even know how to process everything that's happened since I found out. Buckle up, because this is a long one. Jasper and I have been married for 6 years. We've got a 4-year-old daughter named Lily, who's basically my whole world. Jasper's a mechanic, works long hours at a shop downtown, and he's got this easygoing, charming vibe that sucked me in when we first met at a mutual friend's cookout. He's not the most responsible guy, hates planning anything more than a day ahead, and gets annoyed when I nag him about bills, but I thought we balanced each other out. I'm the worrier, the one who keeps our little family afloat. I work part-time as a receptionist at a dental office, and I've always handled our finances because Jasper's the type to spend his last $20 on a burger and a beer without a second thought. The education fund was something I pushed for hard. When Lily was born, I told Jasper we needed to start saving for her future. Daycare was already bleeding us dry, but I wanted her to have options down the road. College, trade school, whatever she dreams up. He didn't argue, just shrugged and said, "Yeah, sure, sounds smart." So we opened a separate savings account, and I'd put in a little each month from my paycheck, sometimes just $50 if things were tight. Jasper chipped in here and there, usually after I reminded him a dozen times. By last month, we'd scraped together about $4,000. It wasn't a ton, but it felt like a win, you know? Like we were doing something real for her. Things started getting weird about a month ago. Jasper was glued to his phone all the time, way more than usual. Normally he's just scrolling car forums or watching prank videos. But this was different. He'd angle the screen away if I got close, like he was hiding something. I asked him once, all casual, "What's so interesting over there?" And he brushed it off with a laugh, saying it was nothing. But then he started getting snappy. I'd ask him to pick up diapers on his way home, and he'd bite my head off, saying stuff like, "I'm not your damn servant, Ruby." It threw me off because that's not him. He's usually pretty mellow, even when he's tired. Then the money stuff started piling up. 2 weeks ago, I got an alert from our bank about a low balance in our joint account, the one we use for rent, groceries, all the basics. I logged in and saw a bunch of small withdrawals, $30, $70, $100, adding up to almost $900 over the past few weeks. I freaked out quietly because Lily was napping, but when Jasper got home, I tried to play it cool. "Hey babe," I said, "did you spend a bunch recently? The account's looking rough." He got this shifty look and said he'd been helping out a friend who was in a bind. I asked who, and he mumbled something about a guy from work and changed the subject. It didn't add up, but I didn't press him right then. Lily woke up crying, and I got distracted. A few days later, I couldn't shake this bad feeling. I decided to check the education fund account, just to make sure everything was okay. I logged in, and it was like the floor dropped out from under me. The balance was $150. $150. Out of 4,000. I stared at the screen, heart pounding, thinking it had to be a mistake. But the transaction history was right there, big transfers, some as high as $500, going back 2 months. The most recent one was just 5 days ago. I felt like I couldn't breathe. I waited until Lily was down for the night, then marched into the living room where Jasper was sprawled on the couch with a beer. "Jasper," I said, my voice shaking, "what happened to Lily's education money?" He froze, mid-sip, and I could see him scrambling for an excuse. He tried to dodge it, saying, "What do you mean? It's fine, right?" I pulled up the account on my laptop and shoved it in his face. "Does this look fine to you?" After a solid 10 minutes of him stuttering and me yelling, he finally caved. He'd been gambling online, poker, blackjack, some sports betting app. He said it started as a dumb thing to kill time, but then he got sucked in. He swore he was trying to make it back, and that he never meant to lose so much. I asked how much so much was, and he wouldn't meet my eyes, just muttered, almost all of it. I flipped out. I screamed at him about how that money was for Lily, how we'd agreed it was off limits, how I'd been skipping new clothes and eating cheap ramen some weeks just to keep that fund growing. He just sat there, head down, saying, "I'm sorry," over and over like it meant anything. I asked how long he'd been lying to me, and he admitted it had been going on for months. Months, while I was clueless, thinking we were on the same page. I stormed off to our room and cried until I couldn't anymore. $4,000, gone, because he thought he could play big shot. That's the main disaster, but it's not even the half of it. This whole thing snowballed into a bunch of other problems, and I'm drowning in it. First off, my sister Myra's in the mix now. She's 25, lives an hour away, and she's always been the no-nonsense one. Growing up, she was the kid who'd call you out if you ate her snacks, and she hasn't changed. I called her the morning after the fight because I needed someone to tell me I wasn't crazy for being this mad. She was livid, called Jasper a deadbeat, and said I should have known he'd pull something like this since he's never been good with cash. She's got a point. He's always been careless. But hearing her say it made me feel like garbage. Now she's on a mission, texting me daily about how I should ditch him and that Lily deserves a better dad. She even offered to help me move out if I need it. I love her, but she's intense, and it's stressing me out more. Then there's Jasper's buddy Reed, who's 32 and a walking red flag. He's the one who got Jasper hooked on this gambling crap. Reed's this loud, cocky guy who's always got some get-rich-quick scheme up his sleeve. He's been Jasper's friend since high school, and I've never trusted him. He's borrowed money from us before and forgot to pay it back more times than I can count. Jasper thinks he's a riot, but I've always seen him as trouble. Turns out Reed was the one who told Jasper about the gambling app, hyping it up like it was easy money. After I found out, I told Jasper to drop him. That Reed's toxic, but Jasper pushed back hard. "You don't get to pick my friends, Ruby," he said, like I was the bad guy. I saw his phone yesterday. Reed's still texting him, cracking jokes about hitting it big next time. I want to strangle them both. My mom's another headache. She's in her 60s, retired, and lives 10 minutes away. She's nosy as hell, loves playing the wise grandma card, and I stupidly vented to her about this when she stopped by last week. Big mistake. Now she's calling me nonstop, asking if Jasper's come to his senses or if I want her to have a word with him. She keeps going on about how my dad, God rest his soul, never pulled stunts like this, how he always had the bills paid on time. It's not helpful. It just makes me feel like I picked the wrong guy. She's trying to support me, I guess, but it's suffocating. The house is a disaster zone now. Jasper's been crashing on the couch, not because I told him to, but because he's dodging me. I can't even look at him without feeling this mix of rage and sadness. Lily's starting to notice something's off. She keeps asking, "Why's Daddy sleeping downstairs?" Or, "Are you mad at him, Mommy?" I've been plastering on a smile and saying everything's fine, but she's smart, and I hate lying to her. I'm barely holding it together. Work's a train wreck, too. My boss caught me staring into space during a shift last week and asked if I was okay. I mumbled some excuse, but I could tell she felt sorry for me, which just made me feel worse. Jasper keeps swearing he'll make it right. He's talking about picking up extra shifts at the shop, maybe even getting a second job at a warehouse nearby. He says he'll pay back every cent, but I don't know if I believe him. How do you trust someone who hid this for so long? He didn't just mess up once. He kept going, kept lying, kept digging us deeper. I found an old credit card statement in his truck yesterday. Turns out he racked up another $600 in debt on top of the savings he torched. He says it's from before he quit gambling, but I'm not buying it. I asked if he's still on those apps, and he got all huffy, saying I'm treating him like a criminal. Maybe I am, but can you blame me? I've been replaying our whole marriage in my head, wondering where I went wrong. Was I too soft on him? Should I have locked down that account so he couldn't touch it? We used to be a team, or at least I thought we were. Now I'm second-guessing everything. Like, last year he borrowed $200 from our emergency fund for some car part he swore he needed, and I let it slide because he paid it back eventually. Was that a sign I missed? Or the time he blew his whole Christmas bonus on a new TV instead of splitting it like we talked about? I feel so stupid looking back. Myra's dead set on me leaving. She says Jasper's shown his true colors, and that staying's just asking for more heartbreak. She's got a spare room, says Lily, and I can stay as long as we need while I figure things out. My mom's not pushing divorce. yet, but she keeps dropping hints about tough love and how I shouldn't let him off easy. Reed's still out there, probably laughing about this with Jasper over beers, and I'm this close to showing up at his dumpy apartment and telling him what a leech he is. Jasper's moping around, saying he'll do whatever it takes, but his apologies feel hollow. I caught him sneaking a cigarette on the porch last night. He quit years ago, and it's like he's unraveling right in front of me. I'm at a breaking point. If I stick around, I'm terrified he'll pull this again, or worse, and we'll lose everything. But if I walk away, I'm tearing apart Lily's life. She adores her dad, even if he's a screw-up. I don't make enough to swing rent solo, not with daycare costs, and the idea of starting over at 28 with a kid in tow is overwhelming. That $4,000 keeps haunting me. I see Lily missing out on college, or us stuck in some rundown apartment because we can't get ahead. I feel like I let her down, even though I didn't touch that money. Maybe I did, though. Maybe I should have seen this coming. So that's my mess. I'm angry, I'm exhausted, and I don't know what's right anymore. Am I the one at fault for wanting to cut and run? Or am I screwing up by even thinking about staying with him? I just need someone to tell me straight, because I'm too tangled up to see it myself.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the story. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss our daily updates.